All right, hello and welcome back. Alien Earth, episode 4, observation. Laura, I have 8 words. Baby Xeno, do. 8, yeah.
Uh, I was like, "Aw, little cobra morph." Did you
He's
notice
all
the
like,
the arms were like fused in and it was like, "Hello."
leave it to Disney to come out with like a very cute little
It was so
baby
cute.
Xeno.
I mean, minus that whole kinetic shot out of the glass where it came at her like a shotgun blast.
I
It
loved
was
it. I loved it.
just slithering around with its little arms perched right here. Like, I wish it had been doing this.
Oh, I loved it so much.
Uh,
I loved
it
it
was the
so much.
best scene of the episode.
It really was. Um, honestly, I hope they're selling merch. I
Oh my
hope they
god.
are. I hope they're selling merch over this little baby Xeno. But before we get into it, like and subscribe. Also, I started a different YouTube channel to start putting my non-Wheel of Time videos on. I will link it in the description here if that sounds like something that you're interested in. Uh,
You
the
should be
link
interested.
yeah, the link will be in the notes here in the description, but also is probably going to be mostly like my review breakdowns of different TV shows and probably more book stuff. And Road to Tarvalon will mostly just keep on with the Wheel of Time stuff. So check that out. Laura, besides Baby Zeno, any other highlights this episode for you?
So, give me 1 second because I wrote something down in my notes and then I got distracted by Baby Zeno.
How could
Um,
you not be distracted?
yeah, like I had a lot to say, and then we got to that point of the episode, and it was like everything went away, and all I could think was just like slithering on the table. Uh, Honestly, I think the name of the game at this point is child exploitation.
Yeah.
And this
Mhm.
episode like really brings that into light. Like this is a bunch of adults exploiting children like they're little play soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, Morrow and Boy Cavalier, Guy Cavalier, whatever, they're especially guilty of this. You
Yeah.
know, like watching Morrow manipulate slightly the way that he was, like going to his mom and stuff, like
That was wild. That
these
was
are
wild.
small children.
Yeah.
And I get that they're barely in adult bodies. Let's be
Right.
serious. These are like young adults. But even though that's like a thing, I don't understand this like they have this weird abusive expectation of the kids that's like, well, you're in an adult body now. You need to be an
Mhm.
adult. And that's just like, we don't see that out of these kids, especially not like Smee and Slightly. They're
Mm-mm.
as soon as Joe shows up, they're like, what? A preteen.
How?
That's
Yeah.
not fair. That's
Right.
not fair.
Right. I think with all of the manipulations, I think it it really seemed like one of the themes of the episode where I know the title was observation, and I've talked a little bit about I've seen other people talking about how, like, this whole episode, everybody's observing everyone, and it's also, like, more into, like, spying and, little, like,
Yeah.
side-eyeing, and whether you're within Neverland or outside, whether it's Morrow, whether it's Kirsh, whether, it's the eyeball goat or sheep zombie
Oh, I
observing them
forgot about
back.
that. That we got to talk about how it was staring back.
Oh, okay. But
I love that.
but the way that the manipulation is really working is because, we've got Prodigy as this megalithic, like just massive, all encompassing, super rich, super wealthy corporation, and they're watching everybody. We saw that last episode where we find out, I think he tells Slightly, like,
We can
tapes are
see
always
you.
run. Yeah, the tapes are always
Yeah.
running. And
Big
so
brother's always watching.
yeah. And so at what point are they going to rebel against this? At what point are the watchers going to become the watched? I'm really ready for a paradigm shift with this show
Right.
because it's building up, it's building up, it's getting there. I'm liking the tension. I'm liking the little hints being threaded throughout, so we're kind of questioning what's what. And yeah, but I'm just ready for, like, the flip, you know?
So, like with what you were talking about, like when do these kids stop going with the program?
Mhm,
Uh what did they say in the episode? I can't remember who they were like, so and so's the oldest. They're 12. You're not even the oldest. Why are you the boss? As a parent, they're going to rebel against this. Boy has a ticking time bomb on his hands because he put a bunch of preteens into synth bodies, forgetting that they would then become teens. And also, what is this whole trusting small children with national security idea? They're all like, okay, so we told them not to tell anybody. And clearly, because they're children, we'll have no issues with that. Like,
mhm.
like the neighbor boy last year gave me his grandparents' address, had never met me before. But that's just like what kids do. Like
Yeah.
they talk, they overshare, and we see a lot of that happening. But those conversations between Slightly and Morrow, I was like, oh, I don't like you anymore.
Yeah, that's one of the things where I'm glad we know where he stands now, but
Right.
for a while, I was curious, thinking, maybe he's gonna have a moment where he decides I don't wanna do this to this AI kid synth thing that he's not sure. He doesn't know exactly what he is, but
Yeah.
at this point, he's gotta be able to figure out something because he's at his parents' house, so, I mean, he knows that he's alive and that he's in there somehow with the way that his family's reacting and the way that Slightly's reacting, so
Yeah.
cat's out of the bag.
I would bet that that the visit with Slightly's mom gave him even more understanding of what's happening. Cause like
Mm, mhm.
he's gonna be able to figure out that she doesn't really know where he's at. Like while she knows that he's alive, because she was like, oh Beta, we miss you every day. And that broke my heart. That was so sad. And but then, like, since we're talking about this, then we get to the really interesting part where we're watching Morrow and Slightly have this conversation, and then we see that Kirsch is like live time watching what's happening also.
Dude, Kirsch
So
Kirsch is the man, like,
he
love,
is. This is
love.
smart. This is smart because clearly last episode when he showed up in Slightly's room, he was something was amiss, but then he I guess was like, "You know what? I'm just going to let's see where this goes."
Yeah.
And well, here's how it went. Now a bunch of kids are demanding their families. So we also have like Isaac, I can't remember what his joking name was, the
I
boy.
think it was Tootles? Moment of silence, please. Girl.
I what?
Yeah, like, I
What?
get it. I get it. I'd be requesting a name change
I must have
myself.
dissociated from some of these names. Like uh, Boy Cavalier must be stopped. Like somebody needs to stop this maniacal little rat.
Just for the
God.
naming alone.
Just for yeah, I mean honestly for the naming alone, yes.
Diabolical behavior on his
Yeah.
behalf.
It's wild. And like I just now I got to know like what's Kirsch's plan?
That's the one,
Cuz
like, I am
he
just
so he knows the new plan isn't to steal an egg. He knows it's to get a human near an egg. That way we can get like an alien baby into a host. And then I guess like Morrow's plan is like, I mean, then just let the alien tear it up. And I guess that corp like Morrow and some backup, I assume, will come in and wrangle it down the road.
I guess.
That
I
seems
mean,
to be the plan when he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna send somebody over to you. I need you to sneak them in with the eggs." and don't worry. Then you got to take care of him for a couple days in secret. And it's like, okay, yeah, he wants one of these to become a full-on xenomorph and terrorize the whole. I don't, is that like a world that they're living on?
They're on like a little
Or,
island.
okay, so like terrorize that territory.
Mhm.
And then that would, I assume in Morrow's plan, leave him and, who he works for. I always forget that corporation's name.
Prodigy?
Uh,
Oh, no, oh, we just talked about it. Yutani,
yeah,
Weyland-Yutani.
Weyland-Yutani. So if they can get a xenomorph up and moving around, then oh my god, I already forgot it. Whatever. Um,
Weyland-Yutani.
Weyland-Yutani can come in and still get their merch. And then bonus, they've also taken a competitor off the board.
Right, right. This is honestly, this whole, like, 5 corporations thing ruling the world, for one, not that outlandish. Not that outlandish. The thing that gets me, though, is I would almost be really interested, like, if they decided to do another spinoff, I would be, like, very keyed in to the corporation side of things, like,
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
like, a real,
Game of Thrones and the Aliens universe.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like, who's gonna come out on top, and, I mean, I think
Is
it's
the I was gonna say, would that make the Xenomorph the Night King? Um, you do though have to wonder, like,
You know what I'm talking about. Okay.
I do immediately.
Okay.
So yeah, but obviously I think we know that like Morrow's plan is not gonna go to plan. And I'm gonna assume that Kirsch's plan is not gonna go to plan. And I think everything's gonna go more to like Xenomorph plan.
I think so, and I also think okay, so, yes on that, hard yes, and then my, like, question mark maybe is Nibs, because
The
what?
girl who thinks she's pregnant.
Yeah, immaculate
I was
conception.
Yes, yeah, her. I remember that with the weird stuffed chicken. Um,
Yeah.
who then has like a little mentee bee for a second and half attacks Dame Sylvie. Like doesn't really attack her, but definitely uses like physical aggression.
You know what it
And
reminded me of in True Blood when they have vamp speed and she, like
yes,
you know what
oh
I
my
mean?
god, even the way she moved.
Vamp speed.
Definitely, definitely. We're gonna have to call Bill Compton. Uh, I have to wonder though, what is going on with this girl? We don't really know. Is this like a poor side effect of the transition into the synth body?
Or the
Could,
trauma, or did, like, the little eyeball thing actually, like, leave something in there when
yeah,
it
just
got
like maybe
close?
well, I don't know if synths get like cuts on their skin because I was like, what if something entered through like
Yeah,
transdermal?
that's what I was
Uh,
thinking too,
yeah,
because
because we
she
did see
kept
that flashback where the eyeball,
yeah,
and she's like, oh,
yeah. I mean,
so
it does seem it's plausible, like, I'm not writing it off, there could be something
yeah,
in there.
yeah. Though I think the real star of this episode was the eyeball.
Yeah. And, okay, so not only do we have oh my god. Not only do we have the baby Xeno, but we have eyeball, squid, octopus thing in sheep, sheep standing on hind legs, sheep walking like human, them watching sheep, sheep watching
Sheep giving
them.
the sheep giving the stink eye because it was like really like sitting in that box like
Mean mugging.
oh I loved it. I could have just watched scene after scene of it, that sheep mean mugging people.
I hope that sheep got a lot of money for this cameo because or the sheep trainer, whoever's
Actually,
herding the sheep.
there was a sheep on set. Just one, but she was there.
Well, I
But
mean,
also like I'm not super familiar with like the eyeball squids. I haven't seen any of the alien movies where they're in that. It kind of feels like something
I
that might have come from the games,
Oh, I
but
don't know. I don't think it's in an I'm pretty sure it's not in any of the movies. It might be a Alien
yeah,
Earth original, I don't know.
it
But
could be.
curious that the eyeball, it looks so
What's the eyeball
human.
planning? That's
Right.
what I can we get like a confessional interview with the eyeball? You know what
Excuse
I
me,
mean? Like
sir. It's just the sheep. Meh.
yeah, like so it infiltrates the sheep, but where does it like does it eventually evolve? Is like my question. So there's a lot of questions with the eyeball.
The eyeball
Um
thing to me
it seems
almost
very sentient for
just being an eyeball with many
yeah, like
lenses.
much more than like the chest bursters or anything like that. Like I know we saw like the cute little babies, chest burster like do his little snake thing, but I where did this thing come from? Where is the what does the eyeball do?
Yeah, it almost feels like it's do you know the movie The Thing? Like, a bunch of
Yeah.
scientists in the Arctic, and then this thing is, like, body jumping from one person to the next, and nobody
Yeah.
knows, like, who's who and if it's in who. But eyeball alien, I mean, it doesn't seem to, like, evolve, does it? Because I think it looks the same every time it crawls out of something. Like,
Yeah.
it's not changing its physiology, it doesn't look like. I'd have to,
It just
rewind the tapes, but it just seems to move from
like so it
host to
seems
host,
to slither into a host eye and
control the
then
brain.
it takes control of like the central nervous system and whatnot. But it can do that even in a dead host. I mean, actually, it seems to kill its host before it does this. I don't know. I guess I'm like interested in the purpose that serves for the greater good of the xenomorphs. Like,
And how is it related to the xenomorphs? Like, I need the
yeah.
evolutionary,
Yeah. Is there
like,
like,
effects. Drop the what is it?
yes,
Like, the
somebody.
chart, the tree of evolution
Oh,
here.
I should go back and find that because I think that this thing was on there.
I mean, it has to be related. They all have to be related. I just don't know how.
I
Like,
want to
how is
know.
tick thing
Yeah.
related to eyeball thing? How is eyeball thing related to Xeno? Like, it's all the circle of life, baby. Gotta figure it all out. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe
I'm
next
very.
episode you can give a demonstration on that whiteboard behind
Oh, on
you.
my whiteboard.
Yeah.
I'd have to get it out from behind the furniture.
But
So we're really seeing a lot of things kind of come to a head at one time.
mhm.
We've got the inclusion of Joe. Clearly they were gonna let him stay no matter what, but due to being able to manipulate children, they make it into some sort of like reward for hard work type thing. When really we all know they were gonna let him stay because what are they gonna do to stop her? Like,
Yeah,
they
that's
couldn't
the
stop
thing.
her from spying on him, they couldn't stop her from doing a lot of the other things she's done. So,
I was kind of
she just doesn't
disappointed.
realize she has the power.
Yeah, I was kinda disappointed he didn't call their bluff and was just like, "Fine,
Bye.
yeah, I'm out." But I'm still thinking that, like, this episode was kind of a low-ranking episode for Joe. He was just kind of in the background a little bit, but I do
Yeah.
think that there's gonna be some type of maybe connection between him and the xenomorph that came out of his lung, like because typically, like, the chest bursters, the host dies, you know what I mean?
Oh my god. What if you're right, and
Like,
that's why it was so friendly with her?
maybe, like, they would share okay, hear me out.
Like a
If
form of DNA.
Yeah, if baby Xeno was, like, somehow sustained, like, parasitically off of Joe's lungs, is there part of Joe's biology now in baby Xeno? And then if that's the case, is that why well, but then he wouldn't be, like, biologically related to Wendy because she's not in her old body. But
Yeah, but there's
I don't
still
know.
question there. There's
There's
like they
still yeah.
still like even the corporation is unsure of like how that plays out. Like they're very unsure if they've just made a bunch of like android children or if they've like cracked the next, you know, frontier of human existence.
Yeah. See, okay. As I was saying, Joe had kind of like a light episode, but that conversation between him and Guy Cavalier's, I don't know, employee, I've already forgotten the name. Adam, hear me out. I've been hearing some theories that Guy Cavalier is like already a synth. Like some people think that he's actually a synth.
Already a synth.
Like
Okay.
he's already gone through with the process because he was saying, "Oh, like, he needs compatriots, he needs friends, he needs people on his level to talk to," and so they thought maybe he's just creating these other kids so he has, like,
Okay. So the
playmates in a
so
way.
it's not just megalomania.
Right.
It's
But,
that he's
like
already secretly transitioned.
yeah. But I think this
How does
conversation between Joe and Adam really, like, wiped that theory off the table. Because with Adam telling Joe and asking Joe, "Hey, I need you to pretty much spy on your sister to make sure if she really is who she was. Like, does her humor and her whatever, like, is she still in there? Is that really her? Or
Yeah.
is it just like a machine with her, memories uploaded into it?" I think
Yeah.
that's what Cavalier is waiting for, the answer of whether or not it's really them.
Yeah, but like how would they ever know when they keep them locked away in a compound where the only people they can talk to are their handlers, their psychologists, and then the barefoot man who's always putting his feet in their face. Like, oh my god, dude, you know how we should have opened this episode? It's like one of
Why?
those. One of those.
Oh god.
The scene, like
The
just that one
disrespect.
momentary scene where she walks in and his foot's like over there. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
don't know, maybe they're hoping that, like,
I don't
after
really
like, as the title with more observation, maybe they can crack the code. Maybe,
yeah, I struggle to think that he's already a synth because
same.
he would have had to make the transition much earlier. And I don't think he'd be so desperate to find out how to move an adult consciousness
Is he
because,
desperate to
like,
move in adult consciousness, though?
oh, I think that's the goal. Like, because he keeps talking about like how adults can't make the jump, blah, 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 immortality, which
Mhm.
is basically the starter to altered carbon. So I don't know if I'm like into this whole he's a synth thing. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. But why would he need to do all this research if he could just research himself?
Right, right. I also think, financially, I think that's really the end game here. I
Yeah.
I know
Selling, oh my God, can you imagine the money that would come from selling immortality?
well, I don't here's the thing, I don't know if he would actually sell it because I think he would save it for himself and then outlive and outlast all of his competition. If he sells
Mm,
it, he's no longer, like, at the top of the mountain. If he sells
yeah.
it, then he's got all these other people that will become competition and, forever and ever down the line because people won't die. Maybe he really is just
Oh,
creating like his own little utopia with himself, these kids, and like that's it. Like that's the end of the mission. he gets to do it for himself, and then, like, that's it, they cap it, no one else, and he can just go on living forever and become king of everything with his money hoards, smog on the mountain.
Yeah,
Smogging it
like,
up.
like the meths in Altered Carbon
Yeah,
are. Like,
exactly.
I hope that he can move into the sky like they did. Um, we also don't actually know why they wanted to study these xenomorphs to begin with. It's not like Morrow's actually told us what the whole project is about. And now
Right.
that they're willing to like capture them by creating new ones, makes me definitely think that this is some sort of like military project. But we have Boy Cavalier who was all in on his little child prodigy since, and then the moment he sees a xenomorph is like, fuck these kids, like I got aliens now. Like
Putting him in the
I
line of
can do whatever
fire.
I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, send these kids to go deal with that incredibly dangerous alien. Uh, I'll stay here back behind the glass and then we'll watch the kids do this. And I guess if we lose one, what's a sick kid? That's like the type of cavalier attitude he has towards everything. And
He
you know what really gets me about him is the way that he talks to these kids. Weird. Weird. Go
there's
turn buttons and knobs. Sir, you created a supercomputer with a 12-year-old inside of it. Like,
that's
come on.
yeah, it's pretty creepy. I used to be kind of like team Dame Sylvia, but after her conversation with her husband, I'm like, "Mm, maybe not. Maybe
Yep.
not." She
She's an
wasn't
enabler.
yeah, she's not who I thought she was, and disappointing, but you know what? That leaves the door open for someone like Kirsch to become, like, the real deal. And I
Girl,
think he's the one. I think he's gonna be the savior of these kids. Like, he's gonna become their real, like,
that would be impressive. I would like to
father.
see the kids go back to their parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, honestly, these kids need to be with, like, family members or at least with people who know how to, like, work with kids.
But the thing that's also, like, really, really scary is that the tragic story here is if they were ever to go back to their families, they're gonna outlive everyone, and,
Yeah.
like, it's that that same back to True Blood, it's the same, like, thing with the vampires, with immortality, nothing after a while, like, it gets pretty depressing.
Well, like, immortality is kind of addressed in a number of shows that you and I have watched, like, True Blood addresses it, Altered Carbon addresses it, and usually the general theme around immortality is when you give humans immortality, it brings out their most depraved natures.
Yeah.
And so giving somebody who is already an unbearable jackass like Boy is immortality, absolutely not. Does it ever surprise you how sideways he speaks to Kirsch?
Yeah, yeah,
I
and I
don't, because I'm like, buddy, you do realize he could break all your toes, right? Like,
I don't know, that's why I'm so into Kirsch, though, because he's always got that kind of, like, slight side eye where, like, it really feels like he's on the verge of just being like, "Okay, buddy, like, watch
yeah,
your back."
God, I hope he says that in the show. Okay, buddy.
I don't know, Kirsch is one to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think whatever the conclusion of his story is going to be, it's going to be cool. Guy Cavalier, I
I want
hope
to see
he
him
dies
die.
yeah, I hope he dies dumb, like, head ripped off
Dumb. Yeah.
by you know what I mean? Brain injury, something.
I hope slithers up on him and bursts right out of him. Uh like, oh, but you know what we haven't even really talked about, which is probably the biggest portion of this episode, is that she can talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I've been so busy talking about how cute the Xenomorph is and how, like, annoying and psychotic boy is that I've completely forgotten that she but here's the question, does she know what she's saying to them? Or is it like you know how he's coaching her where he's like, "You're not human, you can do this, like,
Mhm.
just imagine it reflecting back like a speaker." Okay, she can do that, she can reflect the sounds back, but can her processors, like, decode what she's saying is the real question. Because I mean, like, wouldn't that be wild if she has no idea what she's saying and she's, like, giving them war orders type of thing?
Kill them all. Kill them
Well, I
all.
mean, that's their plan anyway, but so I wanna know, like, does she become the overlord of her own little, like,
Like the Pied
colony?
Piper, if we're
Yeah,
going
she's like the Pied Piper of Xenomorphs, like, "Oh, what." Yes. I know they're not gonna do that, but just imagine her, like,
I
playing
need
a
like a I
flute
need
and
like
them
why am I picturing like a Beetlejuice conga line? You know what I mean? With her at the
I
front.
I picture, like, the Pied Piper from the Shrek movies. So that's, like, definitely what I'm picturing is, like, the dancing and the xenomorphs and all of that. I just like, what you were saying, you were like, "I wasn't sure about how I was gonna feel about" the last 10 minutes of this episode were stellar.
I agree. I mean, highlight for me, sheep eyeball thing standing on its hind
Yeah.
legs because that was menacing, but then the end, the
I really
xenomorph
thought it was
jumping
gonna
through.
did you think the sheep was gonna start talking? Because for a moment, I was like, "Oh, he looks like he's about to step up to the podium." Like,
You know, like,
somebody shoulda
I didn't
"Where's Roddy when you need him?" Speech.
speech. I didn't think it was gonna say something, but when it stood up on its hind legs, I thought we were gonna get like a like goat yells like man scenario where it just made like a very unsettling noise,
Yeah.
kind of like a jump scare, but I don't know,
Instead,
like
it was
it like
silent,
yeah,
eyeballing.
that was also I mean, look, that works too because that was pretty creepy, man, and then, like, when they get the camera angle back and you see, like, the kaleidoscope effect of, like, the eye looking back at him, and I don't know. Oh, that's you know what? That would be a very fitting end for Guy Cavalier is have someone, like,
Oh.
ride in his brain, you know?
Oh, like, little eyeball gets a hold of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that would I mean, that would be
I
a
mean,
lot of fun.
this
Especially if
okay.
it's like, that big eye. When
Hear
it
me out.
climbed in, it was like, "I'm incognito now." It brought all of its eyes into one.
Hear me out. This is how I think they should end Boy Cavalier's story. Everyone gets off the island, okay? It's just him left. He thinks, like he's gonna come back around and like, pool resources and get on top of this thing and get his payback after everyone leaves, whatever. He loses the aliens, he loses the kids. Kirsch walks away, his scientists die, whatever. It's just him on the island. And he thinks he's alone, but he's not alone. Little eyeball is still there, and he has
Waiting.
to live out the rest of his days being driven by the eyeball alien, and the eyeball alien has nothing else to jump to. So he's just stuck in there in the
Yeah,
body.
that would be kinda perfect, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, because he has no issue with doing that kind of thing to people.
Right. Right. Let someone else
Like,
take the
yeah.
steering wheel. Eyeball take the wheel.
Right.
He's
Eyeball, take the wheel. Where are you when we need you? I like when the eyeball got in the sheep and it stood up for a second, I was like, "Oh, is it gonna say something like in alien language?" And then it just dead stared, and I was like, "Okay, it's not going to." And then it was like like actually making eye contact and just like staring everybody down. Girl, thank you everybody for coming to our talk about alien physiology.
Yes. Yeah.
I You know what would make me so happy, even though I don't think it's true, is if the little eyeballs were like, the generals, and gave, the, other xenomorphs orders, like, maybe that's why there's only one of it.
It
It's
needs
gotta get a
someone
sheep.
else.
It needs a sheep to to tell its friends what to do.
Oh, what else you got? Anything else for this episode? Was there
No,
Okay.
I just I kind of love and hate the way they end these episodes. Because
Yeah,
like, I feel like they end each one on a cliffhanger where I'm like, all I can think about is I gotta find out what comes next.
agreed. I'm just ready for some action. Like I love the setup.
Yeah.
I love the setup, but I'm ready for things to really get snowballing. And I don't know, like I need more alien in the alien show. Like I need more xenomorph action, just something. So, yeah, Morrow's gonna come through on that, I think. So, yeah.
Oh, he's gonna get somebody in there to get infected. I really think we're gonna see like an ultimate showdown between Morrow and Kirsch.
I think so too. I think it's gonna
Like,
be
I
the
think that's where we're
2,
heading. Yeah.
definitely. So with that, like and subscribe. Please check out my other channel. I think I have like 2 subscribers right now. So if you are watching my episodes on Alien Earth, I'm gonna start moving them over there. The first one's already over there for this episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And Laura and I will be back next week, and we will see you then.